Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report number 2 for Friday, March 24th, 2023. Shout out to Mr. Tyler Wyatt for spending a few minutes with us breaking down the March Madness. And what we have today, this afternoon, is our second show with Three Men in a Box, myself, Johnny VTV, and Matt Grissom breaking down the college baseball world. And as I sent them a picture earlier today, little LSU Arkansas going on in the viewing area with us today. Apologies for a few minutes late. I'm supposed to be in Vegas 2-3 weeks for March Madness for fantasy baseball for the start of the MLB. And this year with mass launching and the 7 apps that we're just too busy back home. So I'm home in sunny Centerville, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and holding the studio down pat. I'll be back in Vegas real soon, but I am blessed and honored to have these two gentlemen breaking down this week's action and giving us an update on where some of these teams are moving, the good, the bad, the ugly, maybe a couple new teams to jump on potential futures, maybe some teams to start fading. So without further ado, let's see if I pull this off. The one and only Mr. Johnny V and Mr. Matt Grissom. What is up, gentlemen? What is up?
How's it going, man? Thanks so much for having us on.
Oh, thank you. Maddie, what up?
What's up, Jeff? I wish you were out here in Vegas so we could party together. Of course, after last night, I think I'm done.
Well, that's what they say, and right now it's noon, so you got a long way to go to keep that one up.
Yeah, I'm going to take a nap. It's definitely a nap day.
Yeah, he's old, man. He can't hang. He can't hang anymore.
Hey, it's a young man's game out there. Trust me. I'm the guy that's up at 4:30 a.m. Okay. I'm already, one pot of coffee in, get all my work done, get my shows done, get my cardio in. I'm the guy at 7:30 with the bags of food to bring back to the suite as you guys are getting all dolled up to go back out for the second and third time.
That's right, man. I mean, I live to do that in Vegas. You gotta get the midday nap in. It's important because if you're pulling those 2-3 a.m. nights, you gotta have your batteries a little bit recharged. Because let's not forget, we're East Coast guys. That time difference takes a toll on you after a few nights with no sleep.
Maddie, how's Vegas? How's the Strip? How's the atmosphere? Yesterday, 4 games, an overtime game, potential buzzer beater, an absolute ass whooping by my Yukon Huskies. Give us a temperature on what's going on out in Vegas.
Yeah, so hats off to the Huskies. They came and they dominated. The UCLA Gonzaga game, that was a heartbreaker because I had UCLA money line. I thought when Bailey hit that 3, I thought, all right, this is it. They took the 1-point lead. And then the dagger from Gonzaga, that was rough. But I did cash some tickets on Kansas State, and I can't think of the other game off the top of my head. But then the blackjack table last night at Circa, it was good. It was good. And shout out to my amazing host who hooked me up in this party suite down here on the corner. So we're doing it right up here, even though Arkansas fans got a L yesterday. We're winning everywhere else.
Are you staying at the Mecca? Are you staying at Circa?
I am. Yeah, that's
So
the only
did
place I stay.
Mr. Sharapan or Derek or Mr. Benson or Mr. Metcalf, who had a little play in this week?
That would be my host, Miss Tina. She is amazing. But I talked to Derek last night. You know, he's a big college baseball guy, so that was cool. We kind of connected several years ago. He's a big Michigan fan. So when Michigan had their run in Omaha and I think ultimately lost to Vanderbilt, that was kind of where we started talking, and he loves college baseball, and he helped me convince Jeff Davis to start hanging college baseball lines here Friday nights in Circa. So I'm excited. This is the first Friday I've been here for baseball and getting to bet these lines, but they're sharp. They are sharp, I have to tell you.
Johnny,
Yeah.
it's been a couple weeks. We haven't we had a little communication, and you had another show going on, so we brought Matt on solo last week. We're back with 3 Men in a Box. A lot of people asking where it's at. I says it was just 1 week. They took a break for 1 week. We're back. So tell me how the last 2 weeks have been for you in the college ranks.
So I had a really good week last week. Week 4 wasn't so good. It got off to a bad start because I did what I usually don't do, and I advise people not to do, and that is betting a midweek game as LSU just tied it up, baby. There we go. Live LSU Arkansas, because typical fashion this time of the year, and I'm so sick of it, weather. I'm going to tell you what. I don't care how this sounds. Every single sporting event needs to be indoors. Enough of playing outside. I'm tired of rainouts and weather delays. Like, it's no good. We're not getting the best of the baseball. And that's the reason why LSU Arkansas, which should have been a prime time matchup today and this entire weekend, is being up at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And, you know, it's just that's not what I want. It's about what I want here. So, you know, let's everybody start building up some indoor facilities so we can play this game indoors. LSU tied it up, baby. Let's get it. But yeah, no, this is a big weekend, dude. This is every weekend in conference plays big. SEC, it just goes one after the next. Speaking of rainouts, though, Florida Ole Miss got rained out tonight. I was big on Florida at minus 125 today, and that is a doubleheader tomorrow, I believe. And what annoys me is I don't like betting doubleheaders. I think doubleheaders are bad because, first of all, it's a long day for both sides, and it kind of changes up how you're going to use certain players in certain roles, bullpen-wise. And I think typically it's hard to sweep in a doubleheader, so maybe we'll bet Florida tomorrow early on, like we would have tonight at minus 125, hopefully.
Matt, you talked about the sharpness of lines at Circa. Good friends with Mr. Benson, Mr. Metcalf. I applaud them. I always, when I'm looking, I got 50 sports books I'm looking at right now. I always go to the Circa. They're the lead call, other than obviously Pinnacle and who creates some of these numbers here. Back home, and now at the Circa, does the sharpness of some of these lines slow you down, or did you see any nuggets when you were down there this morning?
There's really nothing that I just love that Circa has. The lines that Johnny was saying, I think you had Wake at what, minus 160.
Yeah.
I hopped on Circa's app to bet it, and Circa had minus 190. So that's about where I've made that. They're sharp. I mean, you're going to pay for it, but you know, like Florida was minus 125 at Circa, minus 125 at DraftKings. So it is comparable, but I think they're a little heavier on the teams that we look at and think, you know, this is a matchup disadvantage. This team should be priced higher or lower than the number. So I still pulled the trigger on Wake. I think they are good, but I ended up putting them in a parlay with Tennessee over betting them straight up.
Yeah, Circa's sharp, man. When I was out there right when the season started, so I was out there for FSGA, which was like the weekend it started. and I was trying to go to every book to get the lines for the first set of games. It was difficult. I couldn't find anything. I had to like call people from back home and log into my DraftKings account. And I was like, out of all the places in the world I can't get this. And they're like, well, we're not really doing it yet. And I was like, dude, like, but you're a sports book. Like, I don't get it. So I went to Circa and they're like, yeah, like we could give you futures, but we're not going to be able to give you like games today. And I was like, okay, never mind. But yeah, Jeff Green, or Jeff Davis, they do a great job out there at Circa. They are smart. And, I check in on their lines every now and then. And, DraftKings is where it's bettable for me here. So that's typically what I go off of. And I'll say DraftKings is definitely one of the better, if not the best sports book in terms of college to the overall public. So I think that's important. But one thing that I mentioned last night, it's so important to get the best of the number. That's why the night before all the games start, you got to go at like 15 p.m. Eastern time and get on and get in. Like perfect example was last night I got LSU at minus 155. Now, granted, I thought it was going to be a different pitching matchup. I thought Hagen Smith was going to go. I didn't realize I misread it. I didn't realize that their best pitcher is just going to stay in this like utility role. Matt could tell you more about. So it was like minus 155. You have right now the best pitcher in the country, Paul Skeens, going. And you're going to give me 155, even against an Arkansas team who I think is really good, who's top 5, who I personally think has a really good chance to win this series overall. And I said that going in. But I'm like, that is an incorrect number. You got to take that ASAP. And before you know it, 20 minutes later, it's out to minus 165. And I wake up this morning, they're out to minus 205, and it's minus 220 at close. So that's the importance of getting ahead to the number. You might not get the number you want at open, but best believe that when you're backing these aces and these really good teams, the Rhett Louders, the Chase Dollanders, the Paul Skeens, the best pitchers in the country, most of the time that's gonna get out. That line's going to move far out. So you got to get on the best of the number ASAP, unless you want to go the other side, wait for the number to get far out, and then you bet the other way and you get a big plus money banger.
And Johnny, I think you're correct. For us at Mass, we had the 7 apps that launched a few Fridays ago, and I'm on DraftKings right now, and we bring Julian Edlow in every Tuesday, and I don't just try to blow smoke up his ass or anyone at Kings, but they have the most to offer out of any app around. I mean, you want tiddlywinks, you want a chicken to cross the road, you want American Idol, it's all there. And if it's not, just reach out to Julian, say, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. He'll go upstairs, and before you know, presto magic, it's there.
Yeah, it's important, man. If you have plugs at the sports books, it's so key. It's so important to kind of get the number ahead of time. And as I'm learning and meeting more people in this industry, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But I think realistically, though, it's so difficult, this sport, and that's why any little edge you can get. It's not like other sports. The principle is the same, but the actual X's and O's, it's not like betting any other sport. It's just this is a very difficult game, as Matt will tell you.
And it sounds like the money lines, especially, are when these aces. I'll go back a few shows ago when you talk about the Friday night pitchers. I think of Friday Night Lights, and here come the top dogs, the big guns, and so. But you're going to pay a premium on the big guns, correct?
Usually, yeah. Most of the time, you are. But the good thing is in conference play a lot of the times, you're going to get a bit of a discount because you're going against better competition. And especially in the SEC, you're going against the best competition. And even on a team in the SEC that is, for instance, like let's say Tennessee, Texas A&M overall, like Tennessee should realistically in any other series be tonight minus 200. But they're minus 180 against Texas A&M, so that's a little bit of a discount because they're playing an SEC team that's still ranked, that's still tough. So in theory, you're getting a better number, and I feel like that helps. And a lot of times that those teams that are playing against like the Tennessee aren't really as good as they seem on paper, but these books go off of, oh, well, that's an SEC team, they're ranked, they beat LSU on Sunday, that kind of thing. So that actually sometimes plays in your favor if you want to back these big dogs or big favorites and these big time pitchers on a Friday night.
All right, Mr. Grissom, you're up. It's Friday. I got a boatload of games in front of me. Vandy, Mississippi State, Georgia Southern, Southern Mississippi, Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, Duke UNC. The list is endless. The stage is yours, sir.
Well, going back to the Wake Forest play, I like them if you can get them at minus 160. I think with Rhett Lauder going, I think Wake is the far better team. I was unable to get the minus 160, so I threw them in a parlay that pays about even money with Tennessee. That's basically something that we've gone to every week. We parlay these pitchers, Skeens, Dollander, and Rhett Lauder. I think Johnny's trying to tell me something. Hagen Smith is, and I think that's part of the reason that LSU Arkansas line moved like it did. For whatever reason, the books didn't catch up that Hagen Smith is no longer the Friday night guy for Arkansas. Our pitching depth is an issue right now, and I think Dave Van Horn has realized that he can start Hunter Holland, who's going to do well. He had 7 strikeouts today. He pitched really well. And then Will McIntyre's really stepped up as a Saturday guy. And then lastly, you've got Cody Adcock, who has stepped up as the Sunday guy. And now Hagen can kind of be in that role like he did in the postseason last year, where he can come out of the pen and be a middle reliever / closer, where you can get more innings out of him that way. And I would assume by Johnny's disdain that something just happened in the Arkansas LSU game. Do you want to chime in on that? What's going on?
Trey Morgan had bases loaded, 2 outs at a 2-1 count. He fouls out to third base. I think he jammed him on an inside fastball, but come on, dude. LSU's been kind of struggling with that, to be honest.
That's what Brady Slavens just did too. A buddy updated me. We had bases loaded, I guess, in the 7th inning, and Slavens struck out. So
yeah, it's just
LSU's
been struggling.
Runners, ducks on the pond, or what is it?
One base hit, dude. One base hit gets at least 1 run in. That's the lead, and then you go.
So is it still 1-1?
It's still 1-1. I mean, it was big. They tied it up, but they could have took the lead, and you send Christian Little out for the top of the 9th to try and lock it down for a Game 1 winner. And
So Jeff, this is my struggle here. My mind said bet LSU, and my heart says go Hogs. What I should have done yesterday is bet your UConn Huskies money line, and then Hogs +4. And if we cover, great. If we don't, whatever. I hate losing double. So that's what happened yesterday. I lost with my heart and lost with my head. Today I will not make that same mistake. So,
I mean, truth be told, we have some futures, and I had UConn beginning of the year, middle of the year, and we're sitting here, and my true number was 4.5. It was bet down to 3.5. I thought, you guys beat Gonzaga last year, who was the number 1 seed in the same exact spot before you lost to Duke. I leaned UConn, but I thought it was going to be a tough battle. And like you said, UConn had struggled the first 2 games in the first half and had huge second halves. They were wide awake for this start, and they pounced on them. And because now they're 2.5 point favorites over the Zags. And I will just look you both straight in the eye. People remember what they saw last. And when I brought Tyler Wyatt on earlier today, it should be a pick 'em at best. Some people actually have the Zags half-point favorites, so I won't be sleeping much tonight. I don't like that matchup tomorrow, but that's for another show. So we will leave Wake Forest, Tennessee parlay. Matt, what is the price on what's that paying?
I think it was like plus 131 is what I ended up getting it at. I had Florida, like Johnny was talking about, but it got pushed to tomorrow. So that's a to be determined. Johnny, I'll let you talk about Washington. I know you love that big dog price.
Yeah. So basically, Washington against UCLA. Washington's plus 240 on the money line. That to me is just way out of whack against UCLA, a number 7 team that should not be number 7. Their offense is not that good. It's average at best, even for a Pac-12 team. The pitching matchup between Jake Brooks, their ace, he's okay, like he's a solid pitcher, but he's above 4 ERA. I give it to Kiefer Lord of Washington. Nobody really knows about him if you don't follow college baseball, if you don't follow Washington. Like, this kid is a transfer from Carleton. He's got high 90s in his back pocket, 12-6 curveball, big break, and he's got like a funky, unorthodox delivery, but this kid is good. And the fact that he just got beat up by Rhode Island of like all schools, I think he's in for a bounce back tonight. And I think he's going to dominate UCLA's lineup. I think that they're going to struggle to score runs. I see Washington pulling this out like 5-3, something along those lines. And I think ultimately Washington is going to win one game, and I do believe it's this. And there's just nothing like this. College baseball has the biggest margins of any sport. To any given night, you get a plus 240 winner on the money line. There's not many sports that you can get this consistently. Like, yeah, you'll get an NBA sometimes. That's only because teams are sitting their best guys. They'll sit 2 or 3 of their best guys. Like, it does, that kind of thing. But any given night, college baseball can do this. And I think Washington tonight is the play. I'm very confident that they can pull this out on a plus money banger. And if they don't, they don't. And, they're not expected to win, but this is something that I would definitely take a shot on. And I have Washington on a full unit play this evening with Kiefer Lord pitching.
And me and Johnny just talked about this, about the betting big dogs in baseball. That's really the best way to get ahead, build your bankroll. You're not going to make a lot of money betting minus 200 favorites here and there. I think you're better off taking stabs at these plus 240s. And honestly, it's in conference play, really anything goes. And if you're going to give that high of a price, it's kind of like the Missouri game with getting plus 145 after just upsetting Tennessee last weekend. It's that those numbers should probably be a little more even, but because of the clout that UCLA carries and Washington with Kiefer Lord, he's just not on anybody's radar yet. But the kid's good. I just looked up his advanced analytics. Dude's got a 2.08 Sierra, 2.82 xFIP. So he's a good pitcher. He's 3-0 as a starter, 2.6 ER. So I joined Johnny with this and backed him. I don't think UCLA has got the bats to be able to keep up. So if Kiefer can shut them down early and Washington can get up, 3 or 4 runs, I don't think UCLA's got the firepower to come back.
100% agree. This is actually this is something that I would 100% look at in terms of a handicap. You need Lord to dominate in the first few innings. You need Washington to score a couple runs on Jake Brooks, get him off his game. You want to get him out by the 5th inning. You want to get that bullpen working because this is going to be a long series. UCLA's got a decent pitching staff, but for a team that doesn't score that well, really, their biggest win was sweeping Arizona, who isn't good. They got beat up by Vanderbilt, and at the time, Vanderbilt really wasn't playing good baseball at all. So the thing is, if you can get their pitching deep, they're probably not going to score that many runs, at least tonight. If Kiefer Lord sharp, I think it's they got an 80% chance to pull it out tonight at plus 240 if Lord pitches the way he's capable of pitching.
So we get a Wake Forest Tennessee parlay. We got the dog of the day, the Washington Huskies. Hey, I like that name, Huskies. Versus UCLA. Any other diamonds in the rough, Johnny or Matt, this week or tonight?
Yeah, I'll take that one. We have the Texas State Bobcats at plus 115 today against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. And the biggest thing here, these are 2 of the best mid-major programs in the country. Coastal Carolina is one of those dark horse teams that won the College World Series 10 years ago. They have a lot of clout. They're big in the mid-major schools. And the biggest thing, though, they're offensively driven. Their pitching, let's go. Their pitching is not that good, though. They're throwing Jack Morrison, a freshman who he's talented, but he's young. He's inexperienced. He's got an ERA over 5.7. And, Texas State, you're going to give me an underdog with Levi Wells. Levi Wells is a top 20 pitcher in college baseball, in my opinion. And this kid has come on really strong over the last year plus, the last year or two. And I think the fact is you're going to give me this kind of a pitcher with an offense of Texas State that has got over 40 home runs this year. They're led by Chase Mora, Jose Gonzalez, who are hitting the cover off the ball at the moment. I think in this situation, you take Texas State at the plus 115. And if you're looking at the series overall, which I wish these books will give you a series price to bet, which they don't, I would look and say Texas State with the big pitching advantage. Game 1, they take it plus money dog. Game 2, they're not going to sweep Coastal Carolina. Coastal takes game 2. Then Zeke Wood, who missed last week, pitches Sunday, who's also pretty good. Game 3, Texas State takes the series. Big pitching advantage is why Texas State is going to win this.
Matty?
I second that. I'm on Texas State. And I also took a little stab at Sam Houston State plus 140. I know Johnny's high on Grand Canyon. I don't know if they're in a lull right now. They cracked in the top 25, and I think now maybe that they're in conference play. This may just backfire, but I think the Bearcats are a solid team, and I think they get one in this series, and I like the matchup tonight.
Johnny?
Yeah, listen, I agree with him. Sam Houston's a scrappy team. They have Colton Atkinson going. He's their best guy. If Sam Houston's going to pull one out, it is tonight. I think, the interesting thing about a team like Grand Canyon, they are one of the few teams in the country that have 3 good, legit starters, weekend starters. Maybe only 4 or 5 teams in the country have that. Grand Canyon is one of those teams, in my opinion. Offensively, they're good. They're not great, but they're good. They're led by Jacob Wilson, in my opinion, the top shortstop prospect in this class over Jacob Gonzalez of Ole Miss. Wilson's father, Jack, played in the MLB. They're a good team. They got guys like Homer Bush Jr. coming around. This kid is really good. He's moving up the top 100 rankings for this year. I believe he's eligible. So I think Grand Canyon is liable to lose at least one game in this series. But at the end of the day, I'm a big Antelopes guy. I believe in them to make a deep run in the College World Series this year. So I'm just going to lay the 175, and it is what it is.
Matt?
I think that's about it on my card. I did lean Duke, North Carolina over 11. I think DraftKings has it at 11.5. So that was one that I did get a better number being out at Circa. They've got Horvath going today. North Carolina.
Who? No, they
North
have
Carolina.
Gavin Farbaugh. Gavin Farbaugh. He's actually been better than Max Carlson, to be honest.
Okay.
Against John Santucci.
Yeah, I like Duke. I like Santucci. He had a very impressive game against Wake Forest a couple weeks ago. Almost looked like it blew our parlay, but Wake, I think, ended up coming back and winning that game. But I think Duke gets this one. I've called North Carolina a sleepy team this year. I don't think that they're great. They don't really move the needle for me. They're kind of like an Ole Miss or a Vanderbilt. They're going to do just enough to kind of stay relevant, but not really wow you on the scoreboard. So take Duke today at a plus money price. The Blue Devils are hitting the ball. They won the series last weekend against Clemson, and I think they take this series against North Carolina as well.
Yeah, I think Duke wins today. I like
Johnny, closing thoughts.
Yeah, Jonathan Santucci today is he's a unsung pitcher, lefty in the ACC. He's got 95, 96 in his back pocket with a really good slider. He's got a big strikeout total, 41 Ks through 21 innings, I believe, this year. And this is the kind of guy that he can come out, throw up a couple goose eggs on UNC, who really only have 2 studs. Vance Honeycutt, who profiles as the next generation Trey Turner. is probably going to go top 3 in the draft next year, and Matt Horvath. But I think if he can get around those guys, then he's got a really good shot to pull up the upset for Duke.
Guys, you know what? You got the 9th in there, bottom of the 9th. I don't know, dark jersey, so I'd say LSU got through the top of the 9th. And, I don't want Johnny to have cardiac arrest if they get a walk-off here. And there we go. We got the Razorback down below here. So what I'm going to do is I got all the plays here. I'm going to post them on the timeline next Friday, same time, same bat station. You'll be back, I assume, unless are you still going to be in Vegas or you'll be back home, Matt?
No, Lord, no. I'm getting home as soon as I possibly can. This town has kicked my ass the month of March.
All right. Well, the Aprils will be a lot greener back home. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Johnny, thank you. You can go follow Johnny at Johnny, actually _ Johnny VTV. You can go follow Matt at Grissom Tweets. I like 3 men in a box. There's no one out there talking college baseball like you two. You guys got something here. Keep the passion, keep the dedication up, and we'll see you both at 3:00 next week. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you,
great,
man.
Jeff.
Always
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, guys. Go follow Johnny VTV at _ Johnny VTV. Go follow Matt at Grissom Tweets. Matt, go take a nap. Enjoy the rest of the weekend out in Vegas, and we will see everyone soon.